Actually, we are building everything for a faceless, nameless thumb. But if I can't hook a human being to use my form factor, then what is the point? If that biryani image doesn't make me hungry, that has not done my job.
How do you create a design-first culture in companies?
You actually start talking about it. Who cares about rules? हर आप black background होना चाहिए.
पर हर ऐप में 3 क्लिक होना
हर ऐप में 3 क्लिक होना चाहिए. Why? As long as you're ethical, you're compliant, as long as you're secured, but then break the rule, na?
Love it. Sauvik, such a pleasure to have you here on the Yellow Couch. I've been trying to get you on the couch for a while, and it's a really, really happy moment for me that you're finally here. One, because you've never been to our office, and two, of course, because of the Yellow Couch shoot. I have known you for about a year now, and it was because we were working together on building quite an exceptional experience in the prop tech space. And one of the things that stayed with me of the experience of working with you is your ability to manage the need to innovate with meeting real world business requirements. And the way I saw you navigate that tough balance was really inspiring for me, because I've spent 20 years of my life doing this, and I have never found that balance to be in the right kind of place. Most people are on one side or the other. Mostly they tend to drop the idea of innovation halfway through the project because the business goals become all too real.
Yeah.
So I guess I want to kick off by asking you, the fact that you're heading real businesses at the Chatterjee Group with real targets, KPIs to address, the board to report to, how are you able to keep a handle on and create the environment for innovation at the TCG Group and also as part of the project that we were working on?
Firstly, it's fabulous to be in this very colorful office. I thrive on the concept of a connectedness in this planet.
Yeah.
I'm not a networker, but if I connect with somebody, my heart draws before my head.
I have seen that.
I'll tell you one of the reasons why business and the age of invention and innovation is incomplete without experience and design. See, I've always been a technologist all my life, and I'm from that age where a MIRC UI was opening up the new world of internet.
Wow.
Where the cluttered Yahoo interface was thriving the mindset of people before Google even existed.
Yeah.
Where PayPal's clean 4-step process was going to change the world of digital payments, right? And then, of course, you start growing with consumer internet, and internet becomes part of a commodity in your life, and then you build businesses around that, which has fundamentally been my last 24 years. And then you realize that what are you building actually? If I just break it down into simple thought processes. Let's take the .com world, which has now moved into an app economy, social media economy. Actually, we are building everything for a faceless, nameless thumb.
Yeah.
If we just bare bone cut everything out,
Yeah.
what are we building? Everything is, whether it's a social media platform, whether it's an e-commerce giant, whether it's a brick and mortar retailer wanting a presence on the net, whether it's the banking industry wanting a presence on the net, everything we are doing where the instrument of internet is there, we're building it for faceless, nameless thumbs. So when you're building it for faceless, nameless thumb, there's a human being behind that.
Yeah.
There's a human brain behind that thumb. So ultimately, it's your look, it's your fabric of aesthetics, it's every color palette, it's every journey, it's every widget. These things I started realizing over the last 20 years. These things starts making more sense. The underlying tech is extremely important. The underlying business models are extremely important. But if I can't hook a human being to use my form factor, then what is the point? So then I started indexing in whatever businesses I have been building over the last few years, that technology will always be a commodity. It will keep changing. It will keep becoming better and better. Newer dimensions will open. Today we are talking about experiential reality. Today we are talking about brain computing interface. Today we are not talking about AI as being aspirational anymore.
Yeah.
Today AI is starting to become a little bit commodity.
Yeah.
10 years down the line, BCI might start to become that commodity or experiential reality. And for all you know, we are heading towards a technology space which we can't even think, or it's not got invented yet. So technology will keep on going through that. But to a normal man, to a Joe Blog down the road, or to a average Indian who has got 100 billion smartphones, 400 types of makes and models, you have to focus on design and aesthetics as a prima facie goal. If I just take some popular examples, how an OTT platform, we've got in India 30 plus OTT platforms, how an OTT platform looks on a Xiaomi One Plus to how it looks on a iPhone 14 Pro and 15 Pro Plus to what it looks on a Lenovo Legion laptop is completely different.
Yeah.
Now, that guy might be looking at, let's get some examples in. Mirzapur 3, in the middle of 40 degrees,
Wow.
sun, वो पेड़ के नीचे, he is watching Pankaj Tripathi. उसमें light is different, phone का screen is different,
Wow. Well said.
and the mindset of that individual who's from the heartland of India on a 10 to 15,000 rupees handset is looking at Pankaj Tripathi differently than
Yeah.
Saurabh and
100%.
Sauvik sitting in a living room and looking at a 70-inch screen with Pankaj Tripathi emoting. So the fabric of texture of how I get to that is changing.
Wow.
Dimensions are changing, screen types are changing. As a result, design in my mind is now becoming, it should be design first. There used to be a day when we used to say mobile first.
Yeah.
Abhi people are saying it should be AI first. I would say the age is coming when it will be
Design first.
design first.
Sauvik, how did you create your eye for design? I mean, you were a tech guy.
Yeah.
Because most CEOs I talk to, especially who've had a tech background,
Yeah.
they don't necessarily have the same kind of appreciation for design as you do. So how did you develop that? Was that your time spent abroad? Was that your childhood, your exposure to art?
I think it's a mixture of everything. A typical Banerjjee growing up in a Bengali Calcutta.
Yeah, there's always art
It's
at
all
home.
you grow up with art.
Yeah.
You grow up with paintings. You grow up with music, audio sync.
Yeah.
You know, today if I see a reel where the audio is incorrect, I actually jar away
Yeah.
because you're tuned.
Yeah.
Right? When you're impressionable age from 2 to 6 years, when your brain is very impressionable, when you can learn everything, you're taught music. You're taught this is the art. This is the the Jamini school of paintings. This is how the writing of Tagore is. This is how the writing of J.C. Bose is.
Wow.
And then you actually pick up. I've been fascinated with I wouldn't say pure play calligraphy. I'm fascinated with cryptology. So at the young age, an academic father, your writing is very important to us. How many people write today? The pens are going to become redundant apparently.
Wow.
So it started from there, and then with professional sports, you are tuned to various types of environments.
Oh, wow.
So you're looking at the green grass, or you're looking at a white pad, looking at a white set of clothing.
Interesting.
Then you change that around, you're wearing a blue pad with a white ball with a dark screen, black screen. It changes. But the green grass looks different in the grounds of Chinnaswamy than the green grass looks in the leagues of Lancashire.
That's so fascinating because your experience as a cricketer had an impact on aesthetics. I've never heard that.
I'll tell you something. We used to think कि April or May में ना how many matches will get washed out. And because we used to go there as a young amateur or professionals, I used to mow the grass. I used to mow the ground. So the color of the grass changing with summer coming in, we used to know that the wicket is going to get harder. So
So you're getting so tuned to picking out the little differences.
Correct. So you look at the sky, you know, England, like it's an island, there is rain, but the summer is so precious. We used to think that, you know, 15th May, the sky color changes, means the summer is properly, we will not have a half game, we'll have a full game. And then, of course, I stayed in England for 25 plus years. And at a very young age, I got exposed to the early .com play. So I could build my first two entrepreneurship stints were .coms. So the palette of white, if you see the Google white is different than the white which gets used in other white form factors of Apple. The Google white is different. So slowly we realized that the look and feel is what the user is buying into. And then comics were part of life. So when you read comics, you're exposed to 9 colors in 2 pages.
Your aesthetic palette is getting built.
Aesthetic palette. Now I realized because I was a .com entrepreneur at the beginning part of my life, कि if I show, example, I want to sell, which I've sold, when I was part of the Tata Digital team, when we had Big Basket onboarded, I can show a bhindi in one way. I can show 1 kg bhindi in a different way.
Wow.
However, I can show bananas in a different way. If you put bananas in a black background,
it pops.
It's a different banana. 6 bunch of bananas. If you put apple ka redness in a different way with a white background, different white, it looks different because that is what the people are buying. I'll give you one last example before we move on. In any food tech, I want to have biryani on a Saturday. I want to get hungry looking at the biryani imagery. I don't care usme e-commerce, how much is e-commerce, payment success ratio is how much there, what is the logistics supply chain of TAT, of delivery time. That if that biryani image doesn't make me hungry in all my popular e-tech platforms, that has not done my job. So
well said.
I think like that.
Wow.
Maybe a lot of people are starting to think, but that is the right way we are going up. Because I think somebody like you, what I've learned immense in the last year is, how can I make the normal boring thing look stunning? And I've learned that from you, because I was losing that. And then I met you.
No, but thank you for allowing us to do that. And that's actually going to be my next question, that whenever I worked with you, I always felt that you gave us the environment to be more creative, to push the envelope. And I can tell you that a lot of people talk that talk, but they don't walk that talk. When it actually comes to delivery, they change. They are like, no, sorry, let's just put creativity at a pause right now and let's talk real world, let's be safe.
Correct.
And one of the things I saw from you is you were always pushing us. You were always pushing us to break from the ordinary, despite the fact that even some people maybe within your team also were not necessarily looking for that. To continue to push the envelope and to also ensure that you have everybody's consensus was really amazing to see. So what is the secret to doing that, Sauvik?
See, I'll tell you, and thank you for your kind words. I simply believe that change is constant. 2005, the .com which looked something has to be different of a 2020 .com or an app version of that. I'll give you how I actually think we should always break clutter. Is if you look at any global example, take Netflix. You know Netflix is black background. Netflix is splash is red and splash on black. Prime is blue and black. Netflix personalization used to be very different. They used to be, whatever you see is whatever we will recommend. Or let's take Facebook or Instagram today. Whatever I see is whatever I will see. If I want to see, MasterChef, I will keep getting recommended more and more MasterChef related videos. Now, if that is the n=1 personalization game Facebook, Netflix and Instagram is playing, or YouTube. YouTube, the type of content you consume, if you consume a certain type of podcast, you will be given
that becomes part of your feed.
That's become part of it. But that was always there. Now you see how they are changing. Slowly they have brought in merchandising capabilities. All of you have to get out of that bubble. I don't want to see only my feed. Slowly the widgetry changes. Okay, this is the most popular things India is watching. This is the most popular thing historically you have watched. This is also aesthetics, because how do you present that and where do you present that? Do you present it in the first fold? TV mein you can't scroll. TV mein you are not voicing. So TV mein you have to go through that boring, non-invented form factor. However, on an iPad or a phone, I can just do this. Imagine the changes. Earlier, Facebook used to trigger a lot of side scrolls. Now Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Netflix, ungli ko right, left karwana band kar diya. Now everything is, that is a science. People are spending, months to research how much scrolling. So, and then if you look at the design part of that, if I don't want to give you the fourth scroll ke baad, if I want to give you something super exciting to consume, where you will spend 1.5 minutes, the aesthetics has to be phenomenally different. That's why aesthetics with personalization in one industry form factor is breaking the clutter. And that's why I'm also learning that if I want to do anything in retail today, if I was part of an organization where I had electronics, Chroma and Click and all of them, if you won't believe, 2020 Chroma store of India and 2024 ka Chroma store of India is very different. Today, when you walk into a Reliance Digital or a Chroma store, you don't get to see the TVs and the microwaves on the right hand side of the planogram. Today you get to see headphones, a little bit of smart accessories, because you're warming up, because the user is more tuned to a great Bose headset or a great accessory. So once you're warming up, they have put microwave and TV behind the aisle. 10 years back, they used to be in front of the aisle. So physical brick and mortar is changing. Look at the cars, how the aesthetics and design in cars are changing. If you look at the Mahindra XUV 700, the whole dashboard is completely a screen. However, the Scorpio N is still a very traditional, rugged with an electronic dashboard, but they are experimenting with the segment. So Saurabh and Sauvik might be one persona, X and Y might be 28-year-old, one persona, one might be a Jhajjar, Chandigarh persona, lot of money, one might be a Jalpaiguri, Shiliguri persona, middle class. So their look and feel is different. So I think we as business entrepreneurs, we have to constantly invent and experiment. Then we actually will come to a state ki, 10 people, 5 are adopting it. 5 will be my collateral damage, I have to work differently. I think that is the only way to exist. It's so becoming thin and comparative. You have to constantly think on aesthetics.
So in a hyper competitive landscape, whether it's in prop tech or it's in retail, and you work across the board, across geographies. When we're sitting in 2024, what is your kind of set of hacks or secrets for, let me say, digital experience success? How do you win in the market today?
Firstly, keep your eyes and ears on the ground. Because at the end of the day, you're selling. Whether you're selling direct to consumer, or you're selling business to consumer, or you're selling business to business. You're still, so example, the businesses we are doing today, it's community service, a lot of service commerce on the internet, a lot of co-living, making people live together. So we have to understand, what does the 27-year-old from Panvel to a 27-year-old from Bandra East want?
How do you figure that out? I mean, how do you really derive insight from the data? Because there's a difference, right?
Yes,
you know,
yes. Right? So you will always get data. But what you will see is typically where people are struggling, and I'm not saying I've cracked the code, but at least I'm learning, is typically you will look at 10 attributes of a human being. Where does he stay? What sort of a background is he from? What is his share of wallet or his drawings per month? Where does he stay means a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
If an individual stays in Magnolia in Gurgaon in Delhi to an individual staying in Arjun Marg in Delhi to an individual staying in somewhere in Greater Noida, you create a perception about that individual. He might be a whiz kid or a millennial or you're absolute middle class Indian, but you create a perception. But out of 10 times, 5 times your perceptions will be right about these things if you're looking at the data. So the basic attributes of human being: stay, wallet, share of wallet, what is his drawings, what is his best attribute of transactions.
So all these are demographic.
These are demographic data. Now you start looking at one level below. There are L1 data. Now if you look at L2 data, which is a little wider, usme se you will see that, what is his food palette? What is his electricity consumption? Is he having 5 devices or 6 devices in the house?
Interesting.
Then you will see what sort of footwear he wears, what sort of clothing he wears. Is he a West Side shopper or is he a Zara shopper? Is he a Zudio 49 rupees ka chappal pehne wala, or is he a, Clark's ka 450 rupees chappal guy?
Yeah.
So this is the second data. Iske baad na, you have to experiment. You go with a hypothesis on certain amount of business models and designs, and you experiment. So pilots in a new business become very important. So then you pilot with a hypothesis, this is my business, and this is, I'm saying it to my audience. Example, in Pune is my pilot city. So Pune has an understanding, if it kind of gets adopted, 30 to 40% adoption is there, you're starting to make sense. You're crystallizing the hypothesis that this was my business model. I have understood this is what my offering to the my aspirational India is. Pune is a cohort. Pune is a very different city. Pune ke liye we will make this. If it works in Pune, I will try to replicate 50% of that in Bombay, and 50% will be very Bombay specific. Or then I replicate 40% in Delhi and make it 60% Delhi, or Chandigarh, or whichever metro city, or then tier 1, tier 2 city specific. You're constantly in a new business. You have to love ambiguity.
Well said.
You have to love ambiguity because India is so dynamic. India has got so many Indias within. It's so much fun to build a business in India, but it's also 100x more challenging.
Very challenging. One of the things I noticed in our discussions when we were building the experience was you kept reminding me and the team that we are catering to the 1% of the communities. Even though there were cases where we were getting pulled in different directions, and that the experience should be for everyone.
Correct.
Right, and usually that's the beginning of the end for a lot of experiences. But what I saw from you was, unlike what I experience in most projects in India, is you refused to fall into that trap, and you kept saying, no, guys, let me remind you, who are we designing for? It's for the 1%. And so how do you avoid this trap of designing for everyone? Because I guess it, from a business standpoint, it almost feels like you're somehow losing out on the 99%. which is what I've experienced a lot.
So I'll tell you, Saurabh, I have a very different philosophy on this. I'll give you two examples. If I tell you कि India में 10 pin codes northern part of India का पूरा television industry run करता है.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So the pin codes of Lokhandwala, Juhu, Bandra East, Bandra West, Khar is running northern India ka television and entire OTT industry.
Wow.
10 pin code. I'll give you one more example. This is the best example. This is an American example. The state of California has Los Angeles. One large city and one large state has GDP is plus 13 of America, pulls US, right? That ek state gives you Hollywood,
The entire tech, big tech.
theme park, Disney World, say Universal Studios, the entire theme park. It's multi-billion dollar industry. Hollywood, multi-billion dollar. Oh, by the way, that is Silicon Valley also.
Yeah.
It is also prevalent if you see the entire system integrator story of India. When all Narayan Murthis and the Ram Durais and Azum Premjis created TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Infosys. Cognizant actually has got a huge headquarters, but the analogy I have, it's centered around Chennai. It never had a major presence in Bangalore. So then now Infosys set up their space in Bangalore. There was no Gurgaon Infosys. There was no Indore Infosys, or there was no Pune TCS. So when we were known that we are exporting Indian engineering talent,
It was basically from
it was
that
nothing. It was
few pin
basically
codes.
20 pin codes.
Yeah.
That's what people miss out. If I tell you that Titan and Titan Group with Tanishq is such a large jewelry P&L for us in the country, it's a phenomenal Kia and Tanishq. If it's a multi-billion dollar brand, last I remember it was I think 50,000+ crore brand.
Wow.
It's all getting manufactured under the great, it started under C.K. Venkat and before the great Bhaskar Bhatt handed over. It's all in the cohorts of Bangalore, in the Hosurs and outskirts of Bangalore. It's weird how nano-local pin codes run multi-billion dollar industry. When we generalize, Indians just say it for the sake of saying it. We think that, Paytm is used by everybody in India.
It's not everybody.
No, India is 1.5 billion, which is 150 crores, out of which sort of 700 crore people in India are only using internet. It's actually 50%. And the e-commerce and the entire payments and all of the work,
another subset of that,
which is another 600 million. That is post-COVID. So another 50, 60, 70 crore of India is still not digitally savvy. However, they do have broadband, they do have 4G, but they don't use it. So when I say that you want to build a business, you have to look at, you want to build a profitable business. So I would rather make it for these 300 million or these 100 million users who will spend money to buy a pair of shoe or a watch or a co-live or a grocery or footwear or clothing or watches. I would rather build a business for that, because if I look at the pan-India landscape, India is still growing, but India is, let me just give you a simple parlance. US is 35 crores. 35 crore people live in US. India, 150 crore people live in India. So we are in size, in population, a very different market.
So one of the things I've picked up from you, and maybe I should make this a kind of a methodology in design, is you think in pin codes.
Yes, I think in pin codes.
Because you are so alive to the nuances and differences of behavior in the nano.
Correct.
And the hyper-local.
Correct.
That you refuse to generalize and loosely throw the word around everyone, everybody.
Yeah.
Which is one of, I think, the biggest challenges with design.
Yeah.
Is this loosely throwing around that this is for everyone, everybody will use it, everyone thinks like this.
But sort of you think now we've got this typical hangover because we are, we are design students of what we are building businesses on. This is a typical thinking, हर ऐप white background होना चाहिए. Or there's another mindset, हर ऐप black background होना चाहिए.
और हर ऐप में 3 क्लिक होना
हर ऐप में 3 क्लिक होना चाहिए. Why? Where is Instagram following that rule?
Yeah.
Instagram में there is no never-ending click. 40 minutes, Mr. and Mrs. before going to bed, lying on the same bed before saying good night and are spending dwell time of 40 minutes, 30 minutes, agnostic to the click.
Correct.
And ऐसा नहीं है कि वहाँ से click करके they are going and buying something. They're just consuming good content. Yeah. It's a good time pass. Instagram is the biggest time pass of the planet today. Yeah. And TikTok, which is not in India. And now, how do I monetize time pass? मुझे तो वो 40 मिनट में पैसा बनाना है, उसी टाइम पास से उसी उंगली से मेरे को पैसा निकालना है. So how do I do that? If I give him the same boring palette and if I give him the same aesthetics, they will just move on. So that's the challenge. If you don't have design first thinking, you will not be able to understand the faceless, nameless thumb. It is going to become the most important discussion point in the years to come.
So Sauvik, how do you create a design first culture in companies?
You actually start talking about it.
Especially from the top, right?
Especially from the top. And
so it's easier at your organization.
No,
because the CEO is talking about it.
No, but also sometimes beyond me. Say suppose the board, if there is a group involved, if there is a group chairman involved, you actually sense check that how much they all are design lovers. They all like a great shirt. They all like a great watch. They all like a great
But they may not be articulating it.
They might not, never will be articulating. Some are shy, by the way. Some are extremely shy in presenting themselves. Some, there's a lot of people like that. But if you can extract the buying in, I am thinking like this. Is it okay to paint that new 2 multi-storied you are painting not completely white but with a palette and a strike of blue in it? Nothing wrong. But the question is, somebody had to take that plunge. And because of my risk appetite, I always ensure that alignment on design starts from absolute top. They might not understand it, and that's okay. If they are okay in encouraging you to do that, then I as a leader of the pack should inculcate the culture. First, start talking. Second is, start reading and knowing about the world. So, what I and you always loved was, we said that let's create a feature which has never been seen in India. And we created a wonderful feature, and which is a very different way to navigate, right? Just for the teaser purposes, for our audiences, we can say that, the whole navigation routine of the app's landing screen should be invented in a way, and of course the ZEUX team was phenomenal in giving us a framework of what we should be doing. Phenomenal work. And we all got excited. Everybody who had never seen it all fell for it. But I had to work with you and say to you and the team, saying that let's create a new navigation feature which never India has seen before. Somebody did it when they moved from white to black. Somebody did it when iconization was important. So we have to keep doing this.
So the second is the risk-taking ability.
Yeah.
First is talking about it.
Third is very important, is actually you got to read and know what the world is.
So get exposed.
Get exposed.
To the best stuff that's out there.
Absolutely. If I and you can say, let's not follow the Pantone color of the year, let's think about what else color of the year should work. At least people should know what Pantone color of the year is.
If they don't even know that. So if you don't know the rules, you can't break the rules.
That's correct. If you need to know the rules to break the rules, that's very well said. Number 2 is, who cares about rules? People like us, our generation before it put some guardrails. I would rather use the word guardrails. This is the guardrail, loose rules.
Loose rules.
Loose rules, stay within it as long as you're ethical. You're compliant, as long as you're secured, but then break the rule, na? Nobody's written it out on a Bible that we have to follow this rule and that rule. Everybody who's invented and created world-class businesses has changed the way design has been. I mean, we all are Apple fans. at the end of the day, Johnny Ive now has started working on Airbnb. And look at the way Airbnb is shaping up. Who said an Airbnb is gold standard of look and feel, right? So I think rules are important, but design, it's a contradiction, to be honest. Design, what sort of a rule would you give? It is a contradiction.
Does it also have something to do with hiring people who already have a bit of that design sensibility? I mean, do you look out for that when you hire for TCG?
You know what, not only for TCG, but before also, in my interview process, everything is, I always say that your LinkedIn profile and your resume is the reason I am interviewing you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're very good, you've been good, shortlisted. I ask the first question to anybody who's interviewing with me is, who are you? I said, you have to answer me, who are you outside LinkedIn or your resume? Your resume or your LinkedIn ke bahar bolo, who are you? 6 out of 10 times people will go back to the resume.
I have studied this.
No, I actually wanted to ask, I sometimes ask them, what was your favorite color when you were with your mother?
Interesting.
When you are 7-year-old,
Wow.
we're all mothers, boys and girls. Mothers have an influence, fathers have an influence. What is the color of your gifts which your father used to pack? What sort of wrapping paper your father used to pack? What sort of wrapping paper your mom used to pack for your friends? What was your school tiffin box color?
Wow.
Some people become emotional in these questions. Because of course, some have lost their parents. Some have got parents not well. But if I ask you, Saurabh, what was the color of your tiffin box when you were in grade 5? You and I will become emotional, man. I don't have both of them. I have lost both of them. But it tells me how passionate they were to that yellow colored pencil box. Because they're thinking on design style, and then I ask them, what actually challenges you faced in life? Some people will say, paise ka bahut problem tha mera. I have faced a lot of financial crunch. Half of India, 90% of India, same story. We all have gone through that humble middle class background. I said, what do you do? How did you come out? How did you do your masters? How did you crack such a fantastic world class first job? Nahi, ma'am. I told myself. One day I told myself, some few friends gave me a lot of grief. So everybody's got different triggers. What I end up getting is the human being. See, by next 30-40 minutes now, I have got the human being. Because
really get to the core.
At least I can bet on the guy, basic experience, कि इसमें 30-40% transparency.
You're doing accelerated ethnography actually in their interview. Which is a hardcore design research process.
Which is the only reason. And we have got a great common friend. He does the same. Sid does the same. And I have not invented it, I have learnt it. I have learnt it from great leaders across the world. Good part is I have worked with 20-30 different leaders from different parts of the world, including India. And at the end of the day, people build businesses. People will build the business. This office is about those 50-60 people. They are building the business. Without them, they are just empty chairs. Their right and left brain is the power. Whether you do a transactional commercial business, whether you do entertainment, films, sports, it's people actually. And weirdly, if anybody sues any company, you cannot sue any company. You have to attach the people. That's the irony of life. And that's improved over the course of time. I have realized that if he is aesthetically or creatively bent, maybe he's got a phenomenal sense of aesthetics, but वो बहुत अच्छा गाना गाता है. He loves looking at paintings. But how will I know that he's design bent? So I have started trialing this out. So far I have not, I wouldn't say, so far I have been okay for the last few years. Before TCG I did that when I was building Tata Click and Tata New and all of those Tata internet companies. Prior to that, when I was building Accenture Digital. Day zero, I was employee 1, founding member. I always thought that design sense, you don't have to be a master of design, but you have to be design aesthetic. You should at least know that, you look good wearing pink.
Correct. You have to have an appreciation.
You have an appreciation for design.
You don't have to be a guru.
You don't have to be a guru. There are gurus like Saurabh is a guru. I will come to Saurabh for that wisdom and knowledge. But if I have to get that guy to build a great 400 stores of lifestyle or electronics, I need the store manager to be design friendly. Or else how can he keep a red Xiaomi phone against a yellow Xiaomi phone? Then it has to have a white background. So those are day-to-day stuff.
Wow. What has been the toughest part of building the digital platform at TCG for you over the last year or so?
I have a very simple answer for this. It's still tough. Building a business is the most exciting thing of my life, and taking it to a level where it starts to see value and revenue and impacting people is important. But building a business, the 0 to 100 journey is always tough. It's actually whether you should do it or not. So we use
always that question.
Yeah,
right?
Should I do it or not? Because you're going to put everything aside, and you're going to put everything of your life in doing this. Secondly, will it become a purpose in life?
Interesting.
If it's not a purpose of life, if it's just doing it for glory, money, ना हम लेके जाएंगे घर, ना लेके जाएंगे पैसा. What is important is the journey to building the business. The profitability is an output metric. The input metric is the journey. You will fail. The idea will not work. Nobody is going to download your app. Nobody is going to come into your store and buy the first SKU. You will face days, weeks of zero adoption. You have to be calm and patient about it. And you have to keep on experimenting in small things. Let's try this out. Let's try this out. Okay, this is not working, let's try this. Constant experiment, constant resilience, and constant have a great sleep. Knowing that you are on that path. And you have to be okay. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You have to decide, and you have to know that enough is enough. I have to do something else. Or I think I need to give one more year. I think it will pivot. You have to be a little bit more risk and maturity mixed mode.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I'm sure this is every day.
I resonate that with completely 100%.
You have to be calm actually a little bit. When you're an entrepreneur at the age of 24, which I was, and when I'm an entrepreneur at the age of 48, ignore the white beard. But when I'm an entrepreneur at the age of 48, it's a very different, because then I've got kids' school fees. I've got a family to feed. Then your risk appetite, you have to do measured risk appetite. It's like a Surya Kumar Yadav. After you hit 1,000 scoops on your leg side, he's more or less certain that he lagega bahar hi jayega. Or else, he practices that.
What a great shot that is.
What a great invention. He's mastered it better than A.B. de Villiers. But the fact is, he does it 500 balls every day. Here in Matunga Gymkhana.
Really?
When he's off season, he's doing it here. He's a Bombay boy. But that's the precision. You have to practice. At this age, you know that you are playing a calculated gamble. And you're mitigating as much risk as possible with every month. That is important.
So I guess what you're saying is knowing what cards you have been dealt, and in some cases deciding whether you should play the hand or fold.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, the toughest call.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the right way to put it. You put it absolutely perfectly. I'll just add one line to that is, know your don'ts more than your do's. Know your don'ts more than the ones you want to do. Wow. Because do's will be in one or two things you want to do. And less is more. Do less, focus on that, make the business. Businesses are never built on days. Instagram ka reel to hai nahi. Business will take days, weeks, months, years. And if you're looking to play this game and make it profitable, you have to be calm. But your conviction levels have to be that I'm going to build a world-class business. You cannot say that with a nano-local attitude, think you have to build a world-class business.
Sauvik, one of the things I've noticed about you, you bring a lot of passion to whatever you do. And it's really infectious, it's inspiring. It got the best out of us, you know.
You are a phenomenal team.
Thank you, Sauvik. So I guess I want to wrap up by asking you, you know, of course, you know, you are able to get through with all this passion and conviction. But I'm sure there are times when the stuff you're trying to do doesn't make headway. So I call this question unpopular opinion,
yes.
right? So are there things, or what's the one opinion that tends to be unpopular when you put it across in the boardroom, or whether you put it across in, you know, with your team? Like the one thing that you truly believe in that you tend to have a hard time selling.
Before that, there is a practice I have been having most of my life. I'm a huge believer of passionately love interrogating myself.
Interesting.
It's not overthinking. Passionately love interrogating myself means, Saurabh, am I doing the right thing? Let me interrogate all the pros and cons. Am I doing the wrong thing? I might be doing the wrong thing, which ultimately might 1 million people will be. I might be saying that give me this much amount of funds, which is an absolutely ridiculous ask. That is not right for today, the minute. But if it works, it might impact 100 million lives. I faced it when I was building Jio. I faced it when I was building the Click story. I faced it when I was building the Tata Digital story. Today I think the most important thing which I take it to a boardroom knowing that it will get questioned is, have I done my research enough? Have I taken the micro unit economics mein nobody will be able to, am I good in my prep?
They should not be able to poke holes in that.
भले ही मैं 4 things I know, वो 4 चीज में nobody should be able to take. In those 4 things I should be the best in the world. मुझे 40 चीजें मालूम नहीं है, and I'm okay with that. वो 4 चीज में लेके ना, I will work like a raging bull in that 12 round fight. वो 4 ही है मेरे पास. ये with a,
you know, Bruce Lee said, right?
Did he?
I'm not afraid of the guy who knows 1,000 kicks, but the
the
guy
one
who
kick.
practices one kick 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I think we both are Bruce Lee fans. But I think know your subject, know your limitations, passion show karo, pheko mat. Which is what today's Americans have become a bad habit of that. Indians
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, blah, blah,
the
blah.
The whole work kind of.
Rubbish. Beauty is know 4, show passion about that 4. Shout. You know, behave like a Iron Man for your team. But don't say you know 6, 7, 8. Don't pretend to know 6, 7, 8.
It's okay to say I don't know for the rest.
It's okay to say to a great set of senior folks, I don't know, I'll come back to you, give me 3 days. Or give me a week, or give me 2 months, let me experiment the model, I will come back to you, I will tell you, update you on a regular basis. Constant communication helps, and it's good to say no, yaar. They are not expecting you to know everything. They are only going to poke holes. Ki aapne, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Have you thought of this? And out of
I'm going to use that, Sauvik. That's such great advice.
And I have learned something over the years is soulful honesty and transparency. You know, na, if I have done something unethical, I know in my head. It is better to say it. At least tell your wife, tell your father. You became clean. Maybe you had to do it for some reason. But if you are absolutely honest about any actions, because you are taking a business decision, in business context, you're taking a marketing decision, you're taking a sales decision, you're taking a technology decision. आपके पास पैसा इतना है, आपको पैसा इतना बनाना है. ये constantly हर minute में हमारे दिमाग में चलता रहता है. And that's the beauty of.
So that authenticity is really important.
हाँ, वो authenticity real है. And I'm realizing more and more, I'm speaking to today's generation entrepreneurs, people like our generation, they are thriving on honesty, intellectual honesty, what Sid says. I love that cultural tenet. Soulful transparency यार. Because at the end of the day, आप झूठ बोल के बड़ा बड़ा कहानी दे के you will not be able to make a profitable business. Profitable business तब बनेगा जब every customer of India will actually adopt.
There are many case studies.
वो 1000 people customer हो या 10 lakh customer हो आपका. And you actually sometimes don't need 10 lakh or 50 lakh or 10 crore customers. You need 5 crore loyal customers.
Absolutely.
It's a journey is the best part. I'll tell you, if I have started enjoying the journey from a very long time, I was saying output result is not sometimes in your hand. But if the journey is honest, you would not regret saying that those 5 years I wasted. You have learnt a lot.
Wow.
Profitability will become easier because I have been part of listed organizations. Profitable, IPO'd organizations, stock market is booming. 12 months, the stock is down. Business is doing okay. But the stock is down because of something else. So how do you sleep? Yeah, I have to go and play football with my 13 and 9-year-old. Yeah, I don't care. मेरे को 8 घंटे का नींद is very important. So you cannot solve every problem. Take 4 things, उसी पे thrive and become better. And that 4 you fight, you'll become better and better.
Love it. Sauvik, I'm so inspired by this.
I'm always inspired talking to you whenever I meet you.
I have taken a lot of your time today. Thank you so much again for coming.
Thanks, Saurabh.
It's
been
been
a pleasure.
a phenomenal conversation. I will call you again because
always here
I
for
think there are a million design stories there I want to tap into.
Done.
And I think if we want to make India a design first country,
We need to.
you know, I think we need to put more of your messaging out there for corporate CEOs, for people who are building new startups. This culture that I have seen you build in TCG would be a dream come true, really, to see other organizations.
You know, let's take a pledge. We should build a community of design first
The
thinkers.
Wow. I love
Design
that.
first thinking CEOs should be a community sort of.
Let's do that.
You should evangelize. I'll be part of that.
100%.
Power
I
that.
love that. I love that. And we'll do meetups and
Yes, we should.
we'll push that agenda. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Saurabh.